I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
This past Thanksgiving weekend marked the latest return of the Italian Stallion to the big screen, with Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa once again teaming up with Michael B. Jordan to settle some unfinished business with a certain steroid-juiced Russian. As Dolph Lundgren returns to the franchise to help the son of Ivan Drago defeat the son of Apollo Creed in Creed 2. And with the film receiving the largest box office opening for a live-action film on Thanksgiving weekend, it is an especially great occasion for the topsy-turvy career of Sylvester Stallone, which has experienced a huge boost ever since that first Creed had earned him another Oscar nomination. But 2 years before Ryan Coogler had reinvigorated Stallone's legendary underdog for a new generation of filmgoers, Sly was still struggling to hold on to his action movie stardom, as the year 2013 brought us Stallone's failed action vehicle known as Bullet to the Head. As he was patiently biding his time in between Expendables sequels, Stallone decided to star in this cinematic adaptation of the French graphic novel Du Plomb dans la Tête, whose title translates into English as "Holy crap, the guy on the cover of this book happens to look exactly like Sylvester Stallone." Plus, Stallone wasn't the only icon of 80s action movies trying to reinvent his career with this flick, as the film happened to be the first theatrical movie in 11 years from director Walter Hill, the man who gave us The Warriors, 48 Hours, and many other cult classic action movies and westerns of the 70s and 80s. Sadly, the pairing between these two legends of action cinema did not end up attracting many people to the movie theater, as the film's opening box office would end up being Sylvester Stallone's lowest box office opening in 32 years. And Bullet to the Head did not end up getting much medical attention from the critics either. As for me, I shall speak for myself as to whether Bullet to the Head ends up hitting its target. After all, not only does reviewing this movie count as my big crossover episode for Creed 2, but it can also count as my crossover episode for the Aquaman movie, because look who just so happens to be playing the villain in this flick.
My man!
That's right, bitches. Stallone is going from fighting Ivan Drago to Khal Drogo. It's time for Rocky vs. Aquaman, Cliffhanger vs. Conan, Marvel vs. DC, only in America, motherfuckers!
Living in America.
So our film opens in the Big Easy of New Orleans, which is home to a professional hitman by the name of James Bonomo, as played by Sylvester Stallone, who enters a hotel alongside his partner Lewis so that the two of them can kill off a crooked policeman named Hank Greeley, whom they have been assigned to take care of.
You must not like your job much, huh, shithead?
Right now, I'm loving it.
I'm not dead. I feel fine. I feel happy. I feel happy.
But before Jimmy then does away with the Russian hooker that Greeley was sharing the hotel room with, he notices a cougar tattoo on the girl's back and decides to spare the hooker's life. Then later, we see the two hitmen being followed into a bar by a mysterious mercenary named Keegan, played here by Jason Momoa, who then proceeds to treat Lewis to a double dose of good old-fashioned prison shanking. So now let us drink in the memory of John Wick's stunt double by breaking a couple of eggs off into our glass of vodka for another round of the awfully good drinking game. Make sure you take a shot or drink every time Stallone gets into another brawl in this movie, with this bathroom fight scene between him and Momoa throwing in everything but the bathroom sink. So as Jimmy mourns the death of his partner, the film now cuts over to the other protagonist of our story, Detective Taylor Kwan, played by Sung Kang, who you may best know as Han in the Fast and Furious franchise. Detective Kwan is flown in from Washington to New Orleans so that he can investigate the case behind this dead cop, who used to be his former partner.
Was kicked off the force in complete disgrace. Cop gone real bad.
Only to quickly discover the identities of the two hitmen who had killed him.
Give me a speed check on a Louis Blanchard.
Louis Blanchard, 37 years old with a long list of priors. Blanchard's a known associate of one James Bonomo, aka Jimmy Bobo.
Wait, I'm sorry. What's the nickname for Stallone's character here? Jimmy Bobo?
My name is Bobo. Professor Bobo.
Or as he's simply known as Bobo?
Hi!
I'm Bobo.
God damn, and just when I thought Stallone couldn't get a stupider name than Joe Tanto. Also, make sure you take a shot every time you see one of Jimmy Bobo's mugshots in this movie, all of which are obviously old production photos of Sylvester Stallone which have been badly photoshopped. There's Stallone taking a selfie on the set of Party at Kitty and Studs. That picture is Rambo's mugshot from First Blood. And oh my god, are you kidding me? That's just Stallone on the red carpet for a Planet Hollywood. So Detective Kwan arranges to meet at a bar with Jimmy Bobo.
Boo-boo?
So that he can offer him a chance for the two of them to work together and bring down the bastard that killed Jimmy's partner.
Like, I want the guys who did the hiring. You know, the same guys who took out your partner. Let's work together. We can help each other out.
He was given an offer he couldn't refuse.
I don't work with cops.
He refused.
But after Kwan nearly gets himself killed by a pair of corrupt policemen from the New Orleans PD, Jimmy comes by in his car to help Kwan flee the crime scene and get his bullet wound stitched up over at a local tattoo parlor, which just so happens to be owned by Jimmy's daughter, Lisa, played by Sarah Shahi.
I still have to clean them up, stitch them up. Then you can have them.
A Band-Aid and a blow pop.
Oh, and Jimmy's daughter happens to have the same cougar tattoo as the Russian hooker he refused to kill earlier in the film. Double shot for plot points!
So that tattoo doctor,
Yeah.
she seems okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
You know, she chooses to be with you. You must be giving her something she needs.
Yeah, she's my daughter.
And since the daughter of Jimmy Bobo owns a tattoo parlor called Tattoo Baba, I can only hope that this movie is going to end up being sponsored by Butterfinger BBs. So our unlikely duo soon comes to find out that this Keegan guy is working as an enforcer for a devious land developer by the name of Robert Morell, played by Adewale Akinoye Agbaji. And if you think it's crazy to find out that Aquaman is secretly working with Killer Croc, then how about we throw in Christian Slater playing Morell's Weasley attorney, Marcus Baptiste. I mean, he's famous for acting a lot like Jack Nicholson, so that can sort of make him the Joker here. Hey, it works for me! And since Baptiste likes holding himself some weird-ass eyes wide shut orgy parties, Jimmy and Kwan decide to kidnap Baptiste while they infiltrate one of his parties, disguising themselves with the ever-popular party mask, hipster Roman soldier, and napkin face. And who should just so happen to be also attending this party but... Oh dear God, the rumors were true. They really are hiring Jason Momoa to perform a dual role in the next Justice League to replace Ben Affleck as Batman. God damn you, DC, I think you have just totally redeemed yourself! And after they knock Baptiste out and sneak him away from the party, Jimmy and Kwan soon get to work trying to get this little piggy to squeal.
What do you want? The tall guy that killed Lewis.
It's Keegan.
Yeah, what's his deal?
Ex-mercenary, Central Africa, West Lebanon. Now, he contracts out to Robert Nakomo Morell.
Why'd you...
All aboard, folks! Christian Slater is conducting the Exposition Express!
Greeley was investigating Morell in D.C. Evidence of his payoffs to congressmen, senators, judges. This goes way up, man. We're talking about Washington. I don't want to get myself killed here.
It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
This thing is big. I mean, it's really big. It's bigger than Watergate. It's bigger than Oprah.
Keegan's gonna punch your ticket, and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have a front row fucking seat. You stupid and slopey son of a bitch! Are you fucking insane?
Yeah, what the hell, Stallone? You didn't have to blast the guy's head open simply because he couldn't properly pronounce the word sloppy.
Sloppy!
After all, you're unable to properly pronounce the word antlers.
Rattlers and... Whoa!
So anyone who's familiar with the past filmography of Walter Hill can probably see this plot's slight similarity to 48 Hours, with a police detective who's forced to team up with a hardened criminal so that the two of them can take down a ruthless hitman, complete with a lot of racially tinged wisecracking going on between the two of them.
What about the good old Asians can't drive, Joe?
You guys can drive, it's a fact, no doubt about it. Why don't you read some fucking tea leaves? That might work. But I like your spirit, that samurai thing. It's nice.
Samurai's Japanese. I'm Korean. That's like me saying my favorite Italian food are tacos.
And while their chemistry might not stand up to Nolte and Murphy, I still think Stallone and Sung Kang do make for a solid on-screen pair here, with Stallone giving some especially solid work in this movie. It's quite nice to see the guy branching out a bit and playing an unapologetic anti-hero with a really fucked up moral compass.
One sentence at a time. build a rhythm. It's a lot like music.
Break his fucking legs, I'll give you a Who concert.
Well, now I call bullshit on that, because if Christian Slater's legs were broken, then how would he be able to slide across the stage like Pete Townsend? In fact, Walter Hill has said he modeled this film to be a homage to all the classic action movies of the 70s and 80s that he and Stallone were such a vital part of. And I personally think he's given us a far more fun 80s action throwback movie than any of the 3 Expendables movies. Yeah, I said it, come at me! But really, the dialogue is fairly clever, the editing is quickly cut without being totally disorienting, and the gunfight sequences in particular are quite intense and well-paced, like they tend to be in a Walter Hill movie. Even though I do have to nitpick about the CGI blood effects that he uses. Look at the blood mist that comes out of these bullet wounds. It looks like a paint effect out of Adobe Photoshop. As for Jason Momoa, you can tell that this was an early role for his post-Game of Thrones film career, because he has not quite developed the on-screen confidence that he would later display in the role of Aquaman. But as weakly written as his character may be, Momoa does make the most out of his intimidating size and stature, especially near the end of the film when Keegan lures Jimmy to one final confrontation with his evil bosses by kidnapping his daughter.
Got a few ideas what I'd like to do with her.
Touch her and I'll kill you with a fucking rock!
Well, if you do actually need a rock to kill Jason Momoa in this movie, then you should probably get in touch with Killer Croc, because he's got a big rock. Actually, the final fight between Jimmy and Keegan in this movie happens to be fought with a pair of firefighter axes. And the results are actually quite badass.
What are we, fucking Vikings?
Pick it up.
There you go. Pick it up! Pick it up!
Rock and roll, baby. Freedom of speech.
What do you think this is, Woodstock?
Hell, the only way that you could make this fight scene any more badass is if the two of them were also riding grizzly bears. But hey, I will gladly take what I can get. So while this flick may have ended up being a big blow for Stallone's career as an action movie star, I think it definitely deserves a better reception. And while I don't think it will be remembered as a high point in the careers of either Walter Hill or Sylvester Stallone, it is still a very fun collaboration between these two that is packed with action through all of its 90 minutes.
We still gotta sort out, you and me, by the law.
Law.
And for one final time, I would like to repeat for the record that the name of this film's lead character was Jimmy Bobo.
Hi there, I'm Bobo. I'm here to audition for the part of
Rocky Balboa.
And on the Nudie Watch, you not only get to see a little bit of nudie on behalf of Stallone's daughter, but also a whole lot of nudie over on the ladies at Christian Slater's party mansion. But all that nudie on these females is nothing compared to the rippling pecs which Stallone shows off in this movie. God damn, that man is one muscular ass senior citizen. The man has exercised every muscle on his body that isn't his lower lip muscle. Jimmy Bobo. More like Jimmy Swobo, am I right? Yeah! On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Boulder Bruce, bullet to the head is in fact a far more enjoyable experience than having an actual bullet being shot into your head, and throws the damn towel at an 8 out of 10. Now let's see you try fighting Jason Momoa with an axe, Mr. Mark Rylance. Try winning an Oscar for that shit. I'm Jesse Shea for JoBlo.com, and if Sylvester Stallone really is serious about retiring the character of Rocky Balboa for good this time, then let us end today's episode with a farewell tribute to the stallion who was Italian.
Hey, you know, thank you. Unbelievable. It's like a brilliant. Whoa!
That's the measure of a man.